아니 산에게 어디 아주 슈셨다 님은네 우주 포술라도 다시 막 공충원들이 같이 수대 패면서 대마도 지기 내가 오수요요 슈셔 뒤시 아니 고조 재송 나오는다 신주에 되게들이 지금 우리 투주를 우리 대배제 고조 시리즈도 어지도 안 대면묘기다 근데 주 시간에 패셔가 근데 공제가 가직 대도 그러면 상문하다 아니 쉽게 상문하려 그러니까 작업 주주에 문제지 나랑 결국 거네 근데 균에 대수나와 상문하려 그 작업 주주에 문제다 말한 결국 거네 참지 테스트를 쉬어야지 단도 소수 계산하기 되면 랜덤 연주 쉬게 겁라 문에 대지 아무게 서구 나와야 아니 배배지도 또 지당 먼저 서구 가슴 장암을가나 서구 가슴 수루 쓰는 것도 지난해다 포틀랜드 누장 배미 소바소바 어디 차례나 중원에 여름시 공시도 투마 내려야지 아주 배배지도지 여배 코쇼샤 상사로지 소화된데 시청송 뒤뒤니 찬수 겐싱에기 단대 겐싱에 이번에리 아니 녀만의 꿀레경에 망부시거리 참로냐 닝통원의 투시 신수기 그때는 고급디다 뜻뒤체 엠피게 드네야 잡다 최대 요거를 뜻추는 사버지도 신신 엠피게리아 자야가 고당 안타나드네 납지 겐싱에 간라 소문한 신체제 엔나디 리베 둠러시니 야음식 신수나시 디양 그제 천디 캐스라 샤베 내주 숨도 하는 코 주주디 아주대 자야다 뜻뒤체 아니 이슬람 수기 시주당 균체니 다니디 원제 지역의 고 상무들의 충분히 아니 민코란에 나 대문스 주사바 너럽당 traditional 당 아니 등도 좋아 modern traditional the modern 숭도 제외기 아니 리베기 동라스치니 garden source garden of wisdom association it's a combination of traditional and modern wisdom garden of wisdom yes the 리더십 자음제 진술 나야 대양 우리 간수 단대 쉬게 방어 휴지 지 등주기 암주기 기로종 지기어리 은행안수 배미기 여러 조상 판에 왠지 지도를 쉬쉬야 드리기 고급 도신 중요주什么 자음식 진술 나만한 신신의 간수 내던디 지리시간에 한도 두고도 상상 주시다 마음과 진강의 단주 숙취를 도퇴하기 저디신 수고유 안전하게 게임으로라다 컨라 고조 고래 견시 서구 신발 단나만의 제충며 치제 음르의 신지랑의 찬도네 향주 지조시 수위기 아니 생도기 차기르도 도신나니 당기네 모르 나오나 신체제 그 지조시 수고 말에 수수 지조시 수위는 수수 계열의 편도지 정신 용화되기도 하고 자기들이 향주 미진나물이야 때문에 도면 수야지 장주 차례나나 때니 파마게바 파마시바 수인의 부소리야 심슈 버야다 진리나 냠슈치야 안타인 데르 벨랑시 프리지든 소고 시바주게 제주 최소웨이는 고 엄르가 뭐 지그리 조단식이 주삼바 고 조단기 케멘랑과 디베미시 캐셔무르 예성도 그지 동안 내리마 데이터임도 삼바 게시야 투주디 검시우시나 시르샤니 그래서 양양은 좀 되어 쉬니 단도 투주 대시만은 당시요래 대류 점점 아주 대 자고의 고바다 경쟁이다 리림 방디에 대이 대시 맞춤별소시 그래서 아주 대 롱안나 테마님의 자투고요 말이 다시 제가 같은데냐 그시 믹스이지 주는로들의 중앙이나 아니 테마 솜스로부터 그는 뉴욕다 미네소타스로부터 이나 테마 솜스의 자의 중요를 마도시기 심하다 별미디게 상으로 쉬우지 먹구나 토르대요 사정하고 쉬우시나 야가지고 나오로서 그 가슴 속인 쉬어래 아니 얘네수 단다 단기 쉬우네 신신이 장암들과 나오려야 별배 지도다 숨주 수루식 별이 속어 여사 미만용 만들백 단 출주주들에게 마고 쉬어래 대리류 아니 자고의 금진 소디 분직수다 미망 바라는 양자와 탐석 영화이시다 아주 망설임 속의 토안에 아니 미망의 팬이 더 고지지 등급의 손상 아니 팬지야 계셔 지금 뭐 이마치체 이거 계셔백이 미디 내가 다다지 지도 미도 아주 뭐네 이메네 크란주 이제 신의 국가를 간 계셔요도 아주 크란주를 갱케고야 랭갸고야 시가고야 되게 고급디 다 델자베 걸마도 요마래 디두서바 아니 내도인식 가시산에 대시도 시작 투웨이나 아니 크란주 표지백 내도인 시작 토라야 투벤주 수기제 삼시에 투주데스 망신인 게 요래 좋아 그 롱안을 이미 탱기마도 매주서만 데스 수생나 자위나 소소래 얘기에 관심받는 cancer cancer 투명 수혜주 우리 주가치는 거리야 cancer 양원의 공수 지리 여기나 지수수에 양만줄에 판토야지 정신 연구지 인류 다른 투주 대수요의 성장 아니宣계 코너마서다 도구 준비 통해 살려는 것도 와 인류 enge 고급 대시랑 직신은 개발설에 대시 패미와 삼지 근데 남중에宣계 소리야 총주 수를 초구열에 이메일에 단다 아메리카 자베 거라 유럽 대와 있는 데스탑 대도 그래서 계급 망부이도 아니 레니 되줄이야 슝주줄 자 아니 산주디게 디프리치는 소가줄 자위나 그때부터 다 아메리카 자주 선물을 슝이 말이야 말아 근데 아메리카 슝지 자주 프리 소가줄 파주 거리간 자고도 선물 참물이야 산주랑 자투에 대해 용금이도 공개며 실수需要 다른데 레닌케데요리 디두 미모지 차례에 페데요리 공부 라다 마라다 거거리 나도데 주주다다리야 남부술이야 자네 표투도 모두 되게 왕기 아니 지카소리 캔수데야 공부 쉬어야다도 주주다다 중앙 되게 용기요리 디두 다른다 쉬게 가지되어 손자 이게 고급 랑시에 저베다 나버 성으로 벽에야 다시 경고를 봐 성으로 경고를 봐 킹르백의 벽에 난 대시 겸지설배 프레젠테이션 등에 대해 샤샤 좋아 프레젠테이션이야 야 고도 이지징이지에도 고도에 대해서 패미와 삼세 야면은 디 모드디 이지나 체 디제르야 아주 슈고에 되게 등에 벽에 난 슈시나 삼세 두신 maybe I'll take some time in explaining the global significance of Tibet in English first for the younger generation, and then switch over to Tibetan for my later presentation. So if it will take some time because I come only 2 times in 5 years, and this is the occasion that I become accountable and responsible to the Tibetans who put me in this position. So I have to be responsible for them. Now, oftentimes we speak about the larger issues, bigger issues, but we forget the basics. If we don't know the basics, then higher level things doesn't make too much sense. Also the fact that the generation that came from Tibet in 1959-60, including many elders here who were not educated when they came out into exile, but they were very steadfast in their devotion and faith in His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and committed themselves to developing this community, or the diaspora, Tibetan diaspora community. So I always take the opportunity to thank the older generation who have played a very important role in building this community, in following His Holiness' vision. That is also the reason why our generation is now able to take up the responsibility. I was born in India, I've never seen Tibet myself. So to fulfill my emotional needs, I go to the Indian border from Ladakh to Arunachal Pradesh to see Tibet from the Indian side, even though I cannot step on the Tibetan soil, but this is just to fulfill my emotional needs. Now, one of our job, and if we have this saying, and His Holiness keeps repeating this statement, that we have to hope for the best. So hope for the best, meaning that we will have, we may find a solution for the Sino-Tibet conflict by negotiating with the Chinese if a sensible Chinese leadership come into that position. Right now, there is not much sense. So when I travel around the world, I sometimes jokingly tell our friends in these countries, if you have good surgeons, mental surgeons, then we have to bring all the Chinese leaders one by one, do surgery, put common sense and send them back. That's all they need to resolve the Sino-Tibet conflict. And it's also incumbent upon us that the other part of this statement is that prepare for the worst. So hope for the best, prepare for the worst. So preparing for the worst, even if we have to struggle as a people for the next 30, 40, 50 years, because it is a fight for justice, as you mentioned earlier also. So then we will no more be alive at that time. Now I'm about 58, our generation, we won't be alive by that time. So the responsibility will fall on you, the younger generation, to take up that mantle of responsibility. That is why it is very important that you know the basics about Tibet, to be in a position to explain to other people why the resolution of Sino-Tibet conflict in a non-violent way that would be lasting is beneficial not only for the Tibetans, but for the whole world. So when we talk about the global significance of Tibet, you should also feel proud of being a Tibetan. So if you don't know about Tibet, then it's very difficult to feel the responsibility towards your cause also, right? So I have a short presentation here in English. Of course, we can elaborate and speak for hours, but I'll just stick to the basics. In the first slide, you will see it's a satellite map. All the images that we have are satellite images. It's not hand-drawn. So from this satellite image, you can see how the Tibetan plateau is placed in the middle of Asia. It's in center of Asia, right? From this, sometimes I say you don't even need to draw a boundary, because the natural geographical formation of Tibet, because of the tectonic shift between the Gondwanas or the Indian plate and the Eurasian plate. The Indian plate went underneath the Eurasian plate, just like the African plate went under the European plate, So, and this Himalayan mountains came up, and the Tibetan plateau came up. And you can see how it is placed, and you can see the altitude also from this map. Now in the second slide, in the weekend Tibetan classes, also you recite this prayer, right, for the long life of His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama. The first line itself is Khangri Rave Korve Shinkham, right? So roughly in English, it's like the heavenly abode, the land surrounded by snow mountain ranges. But now it's not enough to say Khangri Rave Korve Shinkham. You have to explain how it is surrounded by snow mountain ranges. So in the next slide, you will see that in the south, maybe we should improvise this slide a little bit. We can get a better map, and also, in future. But right now it shows in the south you have the whole of Himalayas, which extends from Afghanistan to Burma, through India, Nepal, Bhutan. So you have these high mountains. And in the district, DJ Yorba, to the culture of slide, Yama, Chaka Chadigo. Jimadia Dray, someone Chaka leader. I'm going short. So when we have to explain how it is surrounded by snow, so in the south you have the Himalayas, in the west you have the Karakoram ranges, and in the north you have the Kunlun ranges, and in the east you have series of mountain ranges. So that is how you explain to other people why or how Tibet is surrounded by snow mountain ranges, and why we call it Kangri Rave Korwe Shingham, the heavenly abode surrounded by snow mountain ranges. Okay, and then the next slide. The Westerners, of course, the immediate neighbors of Tibet, we always had contact, but there are not many people who could come into Tibet because Tibet is surrounded by snow mountain ranges. Those days you don't have aeroplanes, you don't have motorable roads, so you have to go by walk or ride a pony or horse to get across Tibet. And it's not all places that you can take pony also or horses. You have to walk a lot. And it's physically not possible for many people to come into Tibet, or physically not very easy for Tibetans also to go out of Tibet. So Tibet has remained isolated for a very long time. And the first, as far as I know, the first Westerner, the Jesuits, who crossed over from China overland on Tibet and went back to Europe, was sometime in late 16th century. Late 16th century. And the beginning of 17th century, Tibet became a fascination for the Christian world, because they thought that Tibet is the last frontier where Christianity could not penetrate. And there were also myths that in the high mountains there are some lost Christians. And then a Portuguese by name Antonio de Andrade, he was the first European to cross over the Himalayas, go to Kugay in Tu, and started a Christian church for the first time in 1626. And around the same time, another group, this group went from Goa to Delhi, to Agra, Delhi, and then Tarchula and into Tibet. Another group went from Kerala in southwestern India. They went from Kuch Bihar into Bhutan, the present-day Bhutan. Around that time, the Bhutanese kingdom was also just being formed in 17th century. And they went to Shigaze, and they were the first to start a church in Shigaze. So since then, there have been a series of foreigners, or Westerners, particularly from Europe, who came to Tibet. And I read one book called Tibet Frontier Outpost by an American who was posted on China-Tibet border as part of the China mission, because there were a lot of Christian missionaries in China spreading Christianity in Tibet those days. And he wrote this book in 1906. And his son was the one who received Dr. Rinpoche in 1951 when he came to the United States and said, "Kyo demoina in Amdo, are you okay? Like, are you healthy?" You know. And it was the same son, his son, who received Deshung Rinpoche and the Punzo Phra, Dajen Rinpoche and all that in Seattle, 1960. So this person wrote this book, and one of the chapters in his book was titled as The Roof of the World. So maybe from that time, people started calling Tibet the roof of the world, or it may have been there before, described by Europeans, which I'm not aware of, but Westerners started calling Tibet the roof of the world. Then again, it's not enough to say not enough to call Tibet the roof of the world, but you have to explain how Tibet is roof of the world. There are several plateaus in this world, but Tibet is the highest plateau on earth. So when I was in Japan and in New Zealand, I asked them, which is your highest mountain? And they said in Japan it's Mount Fuji, and in New Zealand it's Mount Cook. And they said it's about 3,700, 3,800 meters. So at that time, I didn't have this presentation, so I had to give them an imagination of how high Tibet is, and I told them, your highest mountain is like base camp in Tibet. So you start climbing from there. You know, that's how high Tibet is. That is why it is called the roof of the world. So according to NASA, the average elevation is about 4,880 meters, or equivalent to about 16,060 feet above sea level. So that's how high Tibet is, and that is why it's called the roof of the world. And according to NASA again, Tibet is the highest plateau on Earth, and then it's home to the highest mountain in the world, about 8,848 meters or 29,029 feet above sea level. And Tibet has an area of 2.5 million square kilometers, which is about 25% of China's total landmass, because China has 9.7 million square kilometers. Comparatively, Tibet is 18 times the size of Japan. It's 10 times the size of UK, and it's 30 times the size of Austria, just to give you a comparison as to how big Tibet is. So one time one journalist asked me, which is bigger, Bhutan or Tibet? You need 100 Bhutans to make one Tibet. That's how big Tibet is. And that also is an indication of how or why Tibet is important to the region and to the whole world climatically. And if you look at the map here, it's taken from the Bay of Bengal, southern India, and it shows Tibet's elevation, the natural elevation of Tibet. You don't need to draw a boundary around Tibet, right? And the next map also shows you, yeah, so next map also shows you the formation of Tibet. As I mentioned before, it came out of the tectonic shift between the Indian plate and the Eurasian plate, and scientists say that it was this formation of the Tibetan plateau started about 50 million years ago, right? And the human habitation on Tibet, as per the scientists, say that it dates back to more than 30,000 years. These are as per the latest findings, but they may have been civilization or people living on the plateau much before that, but scientists decide only on what they find right now, right? So this is according to what they say. So human habitation dates back to more than 30,000 years, and people, the geologists, the Geological Society of America also says that the Himalaya, because of the tectonic shift that's still happening, Himalaya is growing by about 10 millimeter every year, about a noodle thick. So noodles could be of different thickness, but let's say 10 millimeter every year. And then now, I think way back sometime in 1932, there was one person, I don't remember the name, but he had coined the name third pole for the first time, but it was not adopted or used by others around that time. But today, Chinese environmental scientists, yeah, next map. Tom data 가지고 있는 되게 갈다 돼요. So now the Chinese environmental scientists call Tibet the third pole. Now the other two poles are North Pole and South Pole, right? Now again, you have to explain why Chinese environmental scientists call Tibet the third pole, right? So if you go to the next slide, this also shows the permafrost and the ice, glacial ice, right, on the plateau of Tibet. So it's the largest reservoir of glaciers and permafrost in the world, outside the Arctic and Antarctic, and we are talking about 46,000 glaciers. And in terms of how much glacial ice it holds about 14,500 cubic kilometers of glacial ice. This is according to the Chinese Academy of Sciences, and it's very crucial for global climate regulations. So when I visited Brazil last year, just before my visit, I came across a scientific journal where environmental scientists have studied climatic conditions over a long period of time and see how the correlation between Amazonia, which is the lung of the world, and the roof of the world, Tibet. Even though they are on two sides of the world, two poles of the world, there are some correlations. They found that when there is a lot of snowfall in Tibet, then there was less rain in Amazonia. And when there is less snowfall in Tibet, then there's more rain in the Amazonia. So they found this correlation. There's also interdependent issue of the climatic conditions around the world. So it's not a concern, it does not concern only that region, it impacts the whole world. In the next slide also you will see it's source of people say that Tibet's the changes, the climate change over Tibet impacts the rainfall in the whole region, right? The jet streams that flow over the Tibetan plateau and the impact of El Nino. El Nino is the warming of Pacifics. Both of these together, decides the climatic condition in the region. In India, it's called the monsoon, the rain, and it's also depressed. It also decides which are going to be the hot spots in India, and then the depression draws in the clouds, and then you have more rainfall in India. So these are decided by climatic conditions on the Tibetan plateau. That's how important. We are just talking about certain part, but it also impacts the other parts of world. Then Asians call Tibet the water tower of Asia. Again, why water tower of Asia? Now, if you look at this map, on the right-hand side, you have these two rivers, the Yellow and the Yangtze. In Tibetan, it's Machu and Dishu, right? Machu is Yellow River and Dishu is Yangtze River. Now, these two rivers originate from Tibet and flow into China, in northern China and southern China, and these two are the lifelines of China. Without these two rivers, China cannot support its 1.4 billion people. Right? And Yellow River is also cradle to Chinese civilization. Right? Then you have the Mekong that goes into 5 different Southeast Asian countries. It goes into Laos, Cambodia, Burma, Thailand, and Vietnam. Right? Then there are 2 other rivers, Irrawaddy and Salween, that originates from Tibet and flow into Burma. Then you have the Brahmaputra. In Tibetan, it's Tsangpo. Brahmaputra starts from Western Tibet, comes to Eastern Tibet, takes a U-turn, and goes into India and Bangladesh. Now, at this place called, if you can put a pointer at at that spot where it's called the Great Bend, Great Bend, 그래서 나서 근데 못하는 게 이 Great Bend 야스 데스 장을도 어디 단대 파스 어디 말디 고교 아직 될 마다는 거의 뭐 매결 따예요 말왜 technology is very difficult. 이 티탄에 마디 유턴 치스다 이 막체 동문도 왜 Portland computer high. Everywhere else it's working, but not here. So at this place called the Great Bend, China is building a mega dam, twice the size of Three Gorges Dam, which is the biggest in the world, right? And this dam is supposed to produce 3 times the hydroelectricity than the Three Gorges Dam. So by understanding that size, you can imagine how much water is going to be inundated upstream. That will destroy so much flora and fauna that's very unique to Tibet's altitude. And then also a lot of villages and townships and old temples and monasteries might also be submerged, right? But the future catastrophe could be, or consequence could be that if something, I said this whole place is, the tectonic shifts are still happening and the whole region is a seismic zone. If something happens to that size of a dam in future, then what will happen to people in Arunachal Pradesh, in Assam and Bangladesh, they are going to be washed away, because you are talking about millions of cubic liters of water that's being stored for that kind, to produce that kind of a hydroelectricity, which could have serious consequences to the downstream countries. Then you have Ganges that originate from the Indo-Tibetan border, and then comes to India. You have another smaller river that originates from Tibet. It's not marked here, but Karnali, that flows into Nepal and then into India. Then in the west, you have the Indus and the Satluj, right? Both of these two rivers originate from Tibet and goes into India and then into Pakistan. Now Indus, if you have read about old civilization, Indus is home to the Indus Valley civilization. So you can find the Yellow and the Indus, two rivers that originate from Tibet, are home or cradle to two oldest civilizations in this world. And the countries that we are talking about, from Pakistan to Nepal to India, Laos, Burma, Cambodia, Thailand, Vietnam, and China, 10 different countries, are some of the most world's densely populated areas in the world. Right? In the next slide also you'll see it's a source of 10 major rivers, and then it impacts, some environmental scientists say, out of the 8 billion people in this world, between 1.8 to 2 billion people have something or the other to do with rivers that originate from Tibet. So we are talking about serious, because China does not share hydrological data with any of its downstream countries. Forget about water sharing. So with India, just recently, just about 2-3 months ago, after the disengagement at the border, now Indian government is raising with China about sharing hydrological data. We have not yet reached the stage of sharing water, just sharing information on hydrology in the region. So we are talking about serious food and water security, because China uses Tibet's water like a water tank. If there is excess, they let it flow, and then you have floods downstream. If there is shortage, then they cut it off, and downstream countries have drought. And I've been to Thailand, I've been to Cambodia, and when I was traveling also, I used to read a lot of materials, and you can see that a lot of people downstream's livelihood being impacted because of China's control on Tibet's water system. China wants to control all resources. China is getting past. According to some estimates, China's underground water, about 60% of China's underground water is polluted, and about 50% of China's surface water is polluted. So Tibet's water is very, very important for the survival of the Chinese people. And now if you look into more details, there's another slide which shows how many dams Chinese are building on the Tibetan rivers. And heat waves in Europe are also determined by the climatic conditions in Tibet. Then the next slide will show you, this is a new report by International Campaign for Tibet. They have done a research, and just about 15-20 days back, or about a month back, they can release this report. Here, these are pointers as to where China has built dams, or China plans to build dams. This year, May, June, we heard about a big dam being built in Derge and Jomda in Kham, right? Between Derge and Jomda on the Tishu. And that is just one among the 13 big dams they are planning on the upper reaches of the Yangtze. Now, if you look at all these dots on the map, we are talking about at least known cases of 193 dams. And the estimate is it can go up to 300 dams that China is building on Tibetan rivers to control Tibetan water. And if you look at some of the plans that Chinese government has, they are planning to divert the Brahmaputra also into China instead of letting it come into India. So these will have serious consequences in the downstream countries, particularly in India and Bangladesh. Then, when you talk about the geopolitical importance of Tibet, Then you also talk about Tibetan history. I'll just give you a brief overview because this is very important, right? Because China claims sovereignty over Tibet in 7th century, 13th century, 18th century. Before 7th century, there is not much talk. But today, the so-called experts on Tibetan history from the Chinese side, of course, they have to speak what the Chinese government want them to speak, claim they even go back to Song and Tang dynasty and all that, but that has nothing to do with Tibet. Tibetans had nothing much to do with the Chinese also. So the first contact between the Tibetans and the Chinese from a political point of view was when King Songtsen Gampo had Wenxian Gongju, princess of the Chinese emperor at that time, as his consort. And that's also the reason why China claims that Tibet is part of China from 7th century. So if in that case, then that same Tibetan emperor had a Nepalese consort, Prikuti Devi. So Nepal can also claim its sovereignty on China. That doesn't hold water. There's not enough reason. So Tibet from 7th to 9th century was a huge empire. In 8th century, during King Songtsen Gampo's time, Kizong Dezen's time, Tibetans invaded the capital of China. It's not Beijing of today or Nanjing of before that, where it is called the Xiangyang or Xiang. We dethroned the Chinese emperor and put a puppet emperor there. And we even went up to present-day Samarkand in Uzbekistan. That used to be the size of the Tibetan Empire at one time, alongside the Mongols and the Chinese, right? Then Tibet disintegrated. And during that period, from 7th century, of course, there must have been a spoken Tibetan language before 7th century, but the script, I'm mentioning this because even I get asked questions about whether Tibetan language has anything to do with Chinese language or not. Because Chinese is pictographic, they don't have grammar, The Tibetan script came from India. Because King Songtsen Gampo sent his minister Thimi Sambuddha to invent the Tibetan script, maybe mostly in Kashmir, because Kashmir was a hotbed of intellectualism of those days with Muslims and Buddhists and Hindus and all that. So the Tibetan script came from the Indian Devanagari script. Even today, when we recite, if I have to recite the Tibetan consonants, it's very close to Hindi. In Hindi, it's ka kha ga ga nga, cha 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 ja nya, ta 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 da na. We have only 4 vowels. Hindi have more, like a, e, u, e, o, aha, something like that. I don't remember everything. I studied Hindi only up to grade 8. So the similarity of language, because it came from India, and the Tibetan Buddhism also came from India. So if you have heard about His Holiness discourse on the adoption of the Nalanda tradition by the Tibetans, there was a debate between the Chinese Hoshangs and the Indian master, who was Kamala Shila, who was a disciple of Shantarakshita. And the Tibetan emperor decided that we will adopt Nalanda tradition of Buddhism. Right? Now, today, I'm saying all this because the Chinese government claims that Tibetan Buddhism also originated from China. This is not the reality. Even though Buddhism went to China much before it came to Tibet, about 4 centuries much before it came to Tibet, the origin of Tibetan Nalanda tradition comes from India, not from China. Right? Can't hold there. Is it okay? Or are you getting bored? If you're getting bored, then I'll switch to Tibetan. Then younger ones can leave. So Tibet was a huge empire from 7 to 9. Then Tibet disintegrated for about 400 years, from 9 to 13th century. But between that time also, even though there was not one Tibetan king who could rule the whole of Tibet, but religiously, spiritually, we made a lot of advances. So those were the period when Sakya tradition, Kagyu tradition emerged in Tibet. Right? the Marble Ozawa and all that. The Marble Ozawa traveled 3 times in India to learn Buddhism, came back to Tibet and introduced this. So, but even during that period, last year or 2 years before, I was traveling in Northeast India and I heard that Panchen Lama, one of the previous Panchen Lamas, had built a temple in Kolkata. So I was trying to find that on the web. But I also found that in 1206, when Genghis Khan was becoming a big power in Central Asia, Tibet was disintegrated. But even then, India was ruled by the Khiljis. And Khiljis sent 10,000 army into Tibet. The Khiljis were also responsible in destroying old Buddhist monasteries like the Nalanda and the Vikramashila and the Otantapuri. And they sent 10,000 army into Tibet from northern India. But Tibetans were smart enough to let them come in, and then they struck from top and middle and bottom. And it's said that only 100 people could return back from 1,000 or 10,000 marauding army of the Khiljis. So that also shows that even though Tibet was disintegrated, but the Tibetan frontiers were very well protected by the Tibetans, right? And then we developed relations with the Mongols around 1247 because the Mongols were merciless. If they want to capture Seattle, they come to Portland and they kill all the leaders. They don't follow any religion, right? So they were looking for a spiritual master, and they found it in the form of Sayapendita Kumajense. And his nephew, Dongwe Chuge Papa, also went and became their spiritual master, following Sayapendita Kumajense. And then the Sajapas started this Benshen rule in Tibet around 1269-70. Several years after that, then the Mongols, Kublai Khan, invaded China in 1271. And that period between 1271 and 1368, when Kublai Khan and his successors ruled China, is called the Yuan period. But the Mongols were there even before that. Mongols were there even after that. But for the Chinese historians, the period between 1271 to 1368 is the Yuan dynasty, when Mongols ruled China, but not from Mongolia, but from within China, right? And Tibetans were ruled by the Sajapas. Then the Mongols in China, the Yuans, were overthrown by the Mings. The Mings are real Han Chinese, today's Han Chinese, right? They were there, and they ruled China from 1368 to 1644 for almost 300 years. And Tibet, parallelly, was ruled by the Khomatuba for about 100 years, Rinpoche for about 100 years, Devachangpa for about 100 years, till 1642. Now, if you are interested in history, then this is very important. 1642, the 5th Dalai Lama took over the temporal and spiritual leadership of Tibet. 2 years after that, the Mings were overthrown by the Qings. So it's not parallel. You know, if China claims that Tibet was part of Ming, then how come there is this 2-year difference, right? And 1644, the Mings were overthrown by the Qings. If you watch Chinese Kung Fu movies, you will find that most of the protagonists are always Chinese, and the antagonists are Manchus. So the societal perspective of the Chinese people is that Manchus are not Chinese. So Manchus invaded China, and they also ruled from China. And the Ming, the Qings, Manchus are called the Qing dynasty. They ruled China from 1644 to 1911. And from 1642 onwards, in Tibet, His Holiness the 5th Dalai Lama and successive Dalai Lamas till today rule Tibet. Of course, every country has ups and downs with its neighbors. Tibet also has its influence from Mongols or Chinese, but it does not necessarily mean to say that we came under their sovereignty, right? Then, from 1911, the nationalist movement came up. Kuomintang ruled China till 1949. And then they were overthrown by the communists, Kuomintang, right? And we were ruled by, from the 13th Dalai Lama till then the 14th Dalai Lama, and then we were invaded by China in 1950. At that time, the Tibet border was up to Chamdo. Beyond Chamdo in eastern Kham and whole of Amdo was a different story. Does not necessarily mean to say that it came under Chinese influence. Okay, they were ruled by independent chieftains and kings. So this is just to give you an overview of Tibetan history, so that if you find more time, then I would highly recommend that you read Tibetan history written by Shakapa, Tsepen Shakapa, The History of Tibet, and there are also a lot of other books written by Tibetans about Tibetan history. If you get an understanding of how we define our history, and then how the Western researchers define Tibetan history, and how China tries to manipulate Tibetan history, then you will be in a much better position to be able to explain or even argue with others as to how Tibet was historically an independent state. So I have these two books. One is by Michael van Walt van Praag. I would highly recommend you, because you are anyway spending a lot of money for the organization. So I think you must be one of the very few Tibetan associations who really spend a lot of money on the activities that you organize. And I would highly recommend that you keep this also in the library, because this book is by Michael van Walt van Praag and Meek Porteous. We are going to meet with Michael in a few days from now, because he lives in Bay Area. And he looked at Tibetan history from an international legal perspective. Okay? And he worked, this book was published about 4 years ago, and he worked with about 100 scholars from Inner Asia, and proves that whether it's Tibet Yuan, Tibet Ming, Tibet Qing relations, or as per international law today, Tibet has never been considered part of China. And since this publication, China has never been able to respond or retort or argue back on the facts, right? So this would be a valuable book for you to read. Yeah, and I would circulate this. You make a phone number and buy this from Amazon and read. If you don't invest, if you get book for free, then you don't read. Then you put it on the altar, and that's not enough. So you have to read. Then there is other book by a Chinese. He lives in San Diego these days. So I'm not able to go to LA at this time, but otherwise I would meet him, because Professor Lau Hanxiang. He also published this book about 4 years ago. But this is in Chinese. The Tibetan version is already out. Sanjay Gyab had translated this, and it's published by the Library of Tibetan Works and Archives in Dharamsala. If you can read Tibetan, you can always buy one copy from there. But the English version should come out in about 3 months, right? And this professor, he's a Chinese. And he used to be intrigued during his university days when he was young. He used to be intrigued as to why Chinese government is asking every government to say Tibet is part of PRC. Because when he was younger, he had heard that the Chinese government said Tibet is part of China since ancient times. If Tibet has been part of China since ancient times, then why does the current dispensation of the Communist Party is asking every government to say Tibet is part of PRC? So he became a professor his whole life, then he got retired, and then he went to pursue his dream. Even though he was a Chinese, he went on the Communist Party website and he downloaded all the materials from Imperial China. Because the Chinese are known to have a very meticulous system of maintaining records. So when the Yuan dynasty finished, and when the Ming came in, they revised the whole Yuan history. And when Ming got toppled by the Qings also revised all their previous history. So it's how meticulous they are, you know. So he looked at all those, and this is not written in a historical format. It's written more in an argumentative format as to how Imperial China has never considered Tibet as part of China, right? So these are two books, and even though our official position is middle way, so when we say middle, then we talk also about the ends. Without ends or polarities or extremities, there are no middle. They cannot be middle, right? So after we came into this administration, in the 16th cabinet, of course, we follow the middle way policy of His Holiness the Dalai Lama. We are very committed to this. Now, we have to apply our mind whenever a new administration comes into position. We have to apply our mind as to how do we achieve that, right? So we decided to change our strategy a little bit, because within the Tibetan community, there's also the thinking that if you say middle way, you cannot talk about history. That's not the case. Even the people who espouse independence for future Tibet, like the Tibetan Youth Congress, every 2-3 years they have their annual meetings, and then they have an audience with His Holiness, and His Holiness always tells them, if you are since you are seeking independence for future, which they have the right, Tibetan people have the right to seek independence also. So if you are seeking, then you have to prove the independent status of Tibet in the past, right? So on that similar thinking, we are now following middle way, but to gain value for middle way, gain leverage for middle way, then we have to seek recognition for the polarities. One polarity is the present situation of occupied Tibet under the repressive Chinese government, and the other polarity is the historical status of Tibet as an independent state. So that is why, to seek that recognition, this cabinet just didn't talk the talk. We walked the talk. So you know about the Resolve Tibet Act. Your people, all of us have played a role. We did a strategy meeting with Speaker Emerita Pelosi and our friends on the Hill, and we decided to adopt this, and then people started drafting the Resolve Tibet Act, and it took a little more than 2 years to get this bill passed. From November last year in the House, from November 26 in the House, November 26, 2023, in the House Foreign Affairs Committee, we got unanimous support. And then it went on the floor. By April 15th, 16th of this year, it went on the floor of the House, and we got 293 votes out of 431 members present there to vote at that time. Even those who opposed or abstained were not against the bill as such. They wanted to make it stronger, particularly from the Republicans. So I was saying it's more like unanimous decision of the House. And then in June, it was moved to, April, sorry, I'm getting mixed up. In the House floor, we got it done by 15 February. Now in the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, then it got passed unanimously on April 16th. And then we got it through hotline, what is called hotline. It's a process in the Hill where you have agreement of all 8 corners. 8 corners meaning the House leader, Speaker, and the Minority Leader, the Senate Majority Leader, Minority Leader, and then House Foreign Affairs Committee, Majority Leader and Ranking Member, and the Senate Foreign Relations Committee's Majority and Ranking Member. So if all 8 of these leaders agree, and if there is not one objection from a single senator, then it gets through the hotline. So we got this through hotline, and now it's a collective effort of everybody. You have played a lot of role in getting your senators, and in fact, Senator Merkley is a co-sponsor of this bill from the Democrat side, alongside Senator Todd Young from the Republican side, right? So we express our thanks to Senator Merkley last time we were at the Hill during this visit, and that's also because of the effort that you have played in your state to convince your senators and House members to get support for this bill. And now it has become an act when President Biden signed it on July 12th. And now we have one more instrument in our hand, and we have to work with other like-minded countries to see how other countries can adopt similar positions so that we will put pressure on China, and China will have to come and talk to us. So that's the whole idea. Okay, I'll stop that much in English, and I know some of you are getting bored, but I don't think you will get too many opportunities to listen to SIKYONG and talk about these things, right? Hopefully it was useful. Now I'll shift to Tibetan. 모바일 다 디레키제 디즈지도 장 거와 요번에 야면은 배터리 균쇼제 치타데 안디니 양치지게 로트만 즈음이 와 향도 마지 법체 지고 다야데 다와 조조나 직직 요당고 아디 이거 말해 다 캔스도 공을 충원 중요한데 요것도는 배는 디그레 디마도 시간에 벽에 나야 대시 통동시단 망부지 슈디기어레 남아서 남주 투나낭에도 이메이너니 아니 이게 시계도 유튜브 단도 나올이야 마무지기 시슈요래 남균 투나 만행한 저 힘이 있는데 다 다른 가도 돼 저들 선발로 강슈가 되마도 지기 계약이 고급이 요말봐 상로 집어면도 야 남아서 돌아보려 요고 이제 주주시다 요말봐 시슈시다야 그 주주시다 요말에 이런 거 좀 무엇이 잡을 거야 내년 때 시슈는 다 야시스네 Shamba Shirajin, Tenju Pumi, Dixudi, Catchum Shushi. This sudden near 다 겨울음식 대회 공로 랭하링을이야 꿀에 괜찮게 족도 소샤와디 당한주디 무튼이 야고치는 야투가 채고인데 하장 개청물이 단다보동안 저기 지금 중대 춘중 간데스 토요일에 되게 상물로 진호 코스 장군 주무초 그린 양 찍을 때는 주무셔 교지래 마도 지기 나저도 오치면은 나 미표바시리 규모시 나저비네 벨로비 담바나네 게네 연결이 싱글레가 신의 연결이 먼저 디스 카르트가 말했으나 네 통한테서 망치요. 다들 랭게디 통한테 몽골로 좀 쉬고 미시발 파시에라 소소로 좀 쉬고 쉬고도 뒤에 선발이야. 다 단다 일이 맞아 베레 건다 딱바르시 맞아 내주로요. 가서 맞아 되게 초기 진행 지가래. 뒤에 등산 양하고는 염시 칭에 몽고 쉬고요래. 뒤에 선발 내주 몽골로 내주 몽고 대체 아니 소소주기 주버트 땅에 다 간도 고막한데 야고도 도시에 로디기요리 엔티는 신친이 표민 직주디 개청부 차디가 요주 아니 이게 다음서라 직주 조단조인 베이네 아니 진용문에 칼칼 치고 그러면 되게 상황으로 단한가도 내심하고 쉬우시 조디가 그렇게 돌아서야 정액이 민누가단 직주 누가 이게 다양하게 쳐도 내심하고 조디기요리 나한수 지도도 카시부지 토르데 유디 선발이야 자기 윤에 가도 진용체야 내가 좀 숙체를 당겨요리 아니 단다 산수토가 영화에 찍기 줄이고 월이야 아메리카 돌아 사이 투기가도 로스는 게 시시하래 디월이야 딱아 좀 된데 이 손샤베기 건줄다 개발소기 제시준셔베 땡줄 용서가 다 디나나 파르마메라마나 요아래 변화가 수완 되게 파르마다 사서 파르마다 나가 파르마다 파르마숨지 요 되게 상으로 디네 표 개발소 작동만 샤베기 빼대 용서가 찍기 이런 것도 정식 공원이야 균이 직대인데 마동 봐도 또 전부링데 마동 봐도 냐자 치투에 리시직 단도 저디게야 뒤에 기심을한다 냠도 내가 치고야래 좋아 근데 이제 디직 개청부지 차대요래 안테네 등산 기심을하면이 다단다 그 직주 대기연이 있었는데 가장 진짜 중이들이 중이야 그게 아메리카 최소 배제 신문하는 표를 장수문에 직표가나 로정치야다 근데 요가 있나? 왔다? 아메리카 타르모 동만다 향수 아메리카나 요르바 워싱턴 DC리아 아메리카 최소 벤저나 라이브러리 오브 콩그레스 나올라 아니 본주 유베 대동다 있어질 하여 그이라나 로정치게 있나 다디나라 나쇼 요리 나쇼 나만의 중립다 되게 상황을 제시 영향을 봐 누진 따고 중앙에는 다 육제 최상식 다 소소 누가 매일 맞아 지금 심한 배가 최상이 나왔다. 아니 그게 보스턴이야 부디스 리소스 센터요 디지털 부디스 리소스 센터 이만 진 스미트 고저 진 스미트 하나 데 시애틀 이만 지동 고저 투스탄발로라 아니 대중 rum치당 대중 rum치 핸드 표도 보다는 게 다신 사기 다신 저 생이도 안 가서 그게 남부쇼 지그리 대인도 코나부터 지동 고저 투스탄발 패바리 디디스벌 대중 rum치 로마 진 스미트 중간 취하리 그냥 셴바다 말아봐 그 비위 장마시 대중 문제 너무 많고요. 노초는 거는 다 표백해봤던데 중앙에는 대중 문제 너무 많지. 샤종 거는 여기는 아주 소고 계시 원제다. 그래서 제가 일단 다 법타면 다 즉, 지세한테 삼아 소고 계시 원제 너무 많이. 근데 단답 진입인 관계 비율로 전체다. 대상 관계 운행 아주 배발이야. 팬도 전부 쉬울 두비어래. 그런 로전 엔티네 아메리칸 라이브러리 콩그레스 기 레제 차니 디들리아 단한 아주 데 미시간의 게레르 무시가 3 jewels said 게레르 무시 군주에게 차례나 백갑때 볼라기 타나가서 표현에 소용사실 배진 용 미망오시기 소소 유노키 용의 차로 배진 오시지 남패로 사실지 배진디게 상원로 발로 잡이나 뭐마데 파트 인디스 셰지 라이브러리 콩그레스가 야야다 시수 그런 게다 보통 대전의 존이 디나노를 다 차병 오시죠 되게 상원로 정식 뭐를 열사를 다 가져 봐. 난 고주당 아주 냠대 저와 요리. 엔터데 기심을 게 디난 저와요. 또 셰제 간들 가사 진스미트기 베게기 뒤주다 plan의 통사월이 관소라고요. 노초 장sem스다니 보디사트와 of 웨스트다니. 된다 전주 선배기 미 투게더다 유메 미신데 있는 낭쇼가 문에 빼져서 손조 지하를 쉬우지 팬터에 골라. 아니 리소스 디가 상황과 아무르가 여여바래 kansi 교제 디가 여여바래 당에 두드나 아니 중앙부터 마음부터 미지 변조나 로가에 개요 말에 상으로 타겟하는 좀 시작이 되어 있어. 어디서다 대대지 가도 내가 저디가 유시 이게 진용 약게 당야 장도 야고 수야 진용 좀시 야고 수야 좀시 디게 상으로 미망의 쇼슈야 난시인의 쇼슈 난시 쇼슈야 트레이닝 쇼슈 시리 쇼슈 서비스 델리버리랑 포커스 당무 관의 연구면 샘레시다 참아가지고 가리 연구 여봤대 다 겨울음지 도지거리는 때는 가서 연구 아래 데이드 선발라 무 가리 연구한테 배주 체계 다양 아니야 안 주주다다 사고에 다 교제하고 용해 되게 가면 다 숙ገብ체 안 도신 저되게 아래 다 저한테 캔슬 연구에 영화에 통해 영화에 고치면서 내문화 같이 되는지 데이드 팀들 직식을 도다 진용문은 하버드 대화요가 되게 성로 그래서 대화요가 정말 지탱한 계제 가르치다 지탱한이야 지든 현존에 대배청 군주 팀스 현존에 배송상 또 신조되게 요는 간다 레벨로 실은 거는 가지고 공연 시켜버리 점심을 넘어서 본주리 당배고 김대현 때네 강에 채워리 원래처럼 뭐해야 돼 처음에 가래 이는 강에 수업을 라 얘는 또 달루진도 구에 나오는 건 좀 겨울 교르지 다디 400개절이 양용도 사바들이 수요가 요나다 라 행 잠좀 간종 나랑 수용도 수요되는 수수 강발 딸이 수요되고 요소로시도와 듣고 애요 말와 지도 나와서 이네 별집에 짜는 상담을 마도 지기 아주 미결지 가마가 깨져 말와 진용이 뭐이네 아주 다 초이 주주 강한 요가 되게 계속 고주 공을 내가 한간 땅에 있어 지도 출신한 주도 지금에 그시 가능한 징이 두고 라베 있는 강사들의 마찬가지야 맨다스니 세우친 수고요. 이제 단답어도 먼저 상로 디케니 진용을 내가 되게 하다다도 지도의 유효 성장도 주요. 그봐. 상로 가능시 맞춰 상로 수수 행한 게임 고제 따디 지원은 아주 제주도 주도 당소 하다다 용하지. 아주 가샤가 주중원에 가장 신체의 유효스. 다시 마음은 겨울음식 거린 속에서 지만 농창고처럼 차에 요만한 게 추정 뭐슈 두고리 제가 나의 차단식 겨울음식 공부 야채다 주제 상황에서 용도말 때니 그런데 아주 슈투고리 단대 겨울음식이 더 로점에 고등학교 저가 탄에 단다 공부 대주의 도시리만 수많은 시제 디체도 아주 달로 중대의 제고 시나노래야 아니 통과 투쟁의 진지체 방수 투쟁당 노베시디 싱가포르시 제외님은 숨지 투쟁 두치 겨울음식 두개 단계들이 가능한 듯이 capture 가사 담시나 두치는 것이에요. 그래서 난 시고 이나 아니 다음 지역이 아니 두개 담자 당부되고 공부하지 디 가르치 가샤 중과도 전에 대비 되네 하고 그래서 지수요 봐. 두개 담자 이버디 메이나 그래서 마우스 주신이 왔다 두개 담자 숨버튼다 표현을 저에 메이나 되게 정말 다른 게 아니 그래서 노베시디 신다 비시 제베기 로숨송아 코베기 가샤 담시나 코요 시버디 자가 나위르슈 송ገብ시아들이 단 수비들이랑 그 수비들 가가 로제메 수비들이나 표현을 로주마이 향수 고대형 풀이 주에 qabla 군중 공막하리 이번에 가샤 되네만 테네 지금 야시서 메카도 그랑 타자다 수나 뭐 시에요 봐. 어도 신체 내 동마 저게 지금 그냥 때 뒤는 편에 되길 다 잡았어. 결론되니 기부도 맞아. 랍다나 딜레 백벤처래죠. 가두이네 잡을 때 그것도 되는 용어야 그래서 दूसरे 다다니 네 디직슈나 삼레 우메는 무시주디 겨운치 공마시나 지어봐 제가 먼저 전주나 레비타 루규네마 데베이나 집에게로 갑함 배사제베급 겨운ring가베급 표경안수 시지 주제 아니 전주나 만데니 탄디 랍티고 게르미치 템도 칸조 가시치 시유지레 게르미치 데디 나올레 전주의 리우드 마 고소유도 선발이야 아니 지동국의 투스탑에 지리기 위해 최순 디치란 등에만 아주 심시셔리 대인님들이야 아니 지동 고스장모 주무초기 야 지동 고스장모 주무초리야 나게 투무치시니 아주야 즉 탐자를 쉬쉬하버리 겨울음치기다 겨울음치 우리고를 표초가 숨 표미디게 성으로 시작이 치기 인시니 디시에디 전주는 렘니 표초가 숨기 별이 상로 미리 찍은 오토네 뒤에디 야군들 주시고 친구들이 나와라 다 진행에 그들이 슈드기요. 네 내가 친구를 다 향수들이 가져 쓰기면 미신스 좋아. 뒤에 전이 전주는 표현에 지는 지동국의 뒤에 som지 봐도 맞아 별로 유토네 랑세리 탑주셔야 돼요. 랑세 랑간 탑주셔야 이네 강에 내당 강에 친구지고 알이야. 간다 나란서 알타모데 소하게 두모두 내당도 쇼로 박사다 미스머리다 바로 본데와네 체년이 지게 좀보다 다 겨운서 파수 두체제다 간다 메시자 주고 친두시마 요한체 점물이 나올래 아니 내당한테 가고 싶으시 그봐 자나기 그냥 지금 우리 투주를 눈에 뒤들고도 주는 거를 주네 사제 되는 거다 배우고 공부하는 것도 그러니 계속 뭐시 있게 파워야 단다 되길 나고 뭐 쉬우지 이게 맛이 쉬우더니 디버로 봐 두시니 지동구제 뒤주 되송로야 안탱 방고 진홍 거스장 좀 좋다 당상 걸어 나야리야 아니 우면은 걸 공부해야 돼 지도는 고수에 그 지도 표조 소스가 지도 소스다 주냐도 그들 중심이 군중 걸어서 나야래 나 뒤주 되송네 지내마 공부 시에운데다 전부링 나오는 거를 잡고 지금 하고 싶다래. 겨울음식 뒤주 된송로야 테마 당고 아니 여러분 집이 나와래. 뒤주 된고도 지네 아무르가 태안 당고 집이 나와래. 딩에 주주의 변에 에시에 계속 가시지마도 집이 나온 투요 말해. 진정이 내다음에 야나 차셔기 메인에 지동구지 뒤주 된지 거도 고선염들 계속 송샤요 말해. 태매래. 좋아. 아니 뒤주 된지리야 고선염들 계속 소미 차서 뒤에 소미 차와서 좀 많이 배는 고저 대자 산소 그 개공한 수를 봐 대회마 비체 다 dindir기 첩식이 럽 치고지 줘대 갑대 다 표현 나오는 표면되게 청지 강해지 시니 아니 표 미릭 시야 돼 토미토당 표 미릭이 뭐되게 돼 토모토 공부 시에니 아니 자체선에 공부 시에체 뒤주던 손내마 공부 시에 도스고 주군 뒤주던 게 논조 이내리 등구 롱고대와 이내리 아니 단다 구이치고 예를 들어 봐 야란 시제 땡쇼비 제야당 안 갑자기 랑 제마이 베게 저 가시는 디그리 시야당 안티제는 맞아 표현 나올이야지